Very good evening to Mr. Khairi. Today I will be presenting about case study 2 security guidelines. My group members are Amirul Aiman and Nabil Aizat. So today I will be explaining about malware or ransomware to be exact. Okay, so in this case study about malware, we have discussed and we have decided to choose ransomware as our topic about malware. We have done some research regarding how ransomware started and issues occurs regarding this malware. In the next subtopic, we will discuss from the technical view about our subtopics. The chapter on preventive measurements that should be taken by everyone, by every computer users, to avoid this malware to happen in their machines. Lastly, we will sum up that with a final conclusion to all our findings. Okay, so the brief history and famous issues surrounding the subtopic. It all started in 1989 and was called 1989 AIDS Trojan or PS Cyborg. A biologist distributed this ransomware on World Health Organization's international AIDS through diskette. A Chivas Trojan was discovered and it was more dangerous. Trojan.winlock was discovered and Operation Tovar was created to crack down the crypto locker and Game Over Zeus botnet. Later, phone with Android was also infected with ransomware. That is how serious this problem was. Many organizations around the world were infected by the latest ransomware, which is known by WannaCry ransomware. And so far, thousands of people have been affected by this. Okay, so the technical view of the subtopic. The way it works is by encrypting victims' file and asking them to pay to decrypt it back. It was also spread through JavaScript applications attached to an email. Next, some of the ransomware used download link as the medium. Or, rather than encrypting user file, they encrypt the entire files of the enterprise, which is the worst thing that could happen. And that is all from me, and now Aiman Mado will continue.
Hello. I will be talking about preventative measurement of ransomware. Firstly, you can back up your data. The single biggest thing that will defeat ransomware is having regularly updated backup. If you attack with ransomware, you may lose that document you started earlier this morning. But if you can restore your system to an earlier snapshot or clean up your machine and restore your other lost document from backup, you can rest easy. Next, always show hidden file extension. One way that CryptoLocker frequently arrives is in a file that is named with the extension pdf.exe, containing Windows default behavior of hiding known file extensions. If you enable the ability to see the full file extension, it can be easier to spot suspicious file. The third preventative measurement is to use the toolkit that can prevent ransomware. Next, disable the RDP. The CryptoLocker malware often accesses target machines using Remote Desktop Protocol, also known as RDP, a Windows utility that allows others to access your desktop remotely. If you do not require the use of RDP, you can disable the RDP to protect your machine from file coder and other RDP exploits. The second last preventative measurement of ransomware is to use reputable and trustable security site. It is always a good idea to have both anti-malware software and a software firewall to help you identify threats or suspicious behavior. Malware authors frequently send out new variants to try avoid detections, so this is why it is important to have both layers of protection. And at this point, most malware relies on remote instructions to carry out their misdeeds. If you run across a ransomware variant that is so new that it gets past anti-malware software, it may still be caught by a firewall where it attempts to connect with its command and control server to receive instructions for encrypting your files. If you find yourself in a position where you have already run a ransomware file without having performed any of the previous precautions, your options are quite a bit more limited, but all may not be lost. There are few things you can do that help mitigate The damages, particularly if the ransomware in question is cryptolocal. Disconnect from CNC server. If you run a file that you suspect may be a ransomware but you have not yet seen the characteristic ransomware screen, if you act very quickly, you might be able to stop communication with the CNC server before it finish encrypting your files. If you disconnect yourself from the network immediately, you might mitigate the damage. It takes some time to encrypt all your files, so you may be able to stop it before it succeeds in gobbling them all. This technique is definitely not foolproof, and you might not be sufficiently lucky or be able to move more quickly than malware, but disconnecting from the network may be better than doing nothing. Next, for the conclusion on this topic, this type of malware, which is ransomware, is very dangerous. Secondly, we were able to know more information regarding this malware. And lastly, we have a clearer picture on how to prevent this problem from occur in your device. Next, I will be talking about chapter 2, which is hacking and phishing. Hacking, also known as phishing, sorry. The introduction for this chapter is phishing is a law-breaking crime in the internet which targets a contact by email, telephone, or text message by somebody posing as a legitimate establishment to lure people into providing sensitive information such as usernames and password for an account, bank details, and even credit card details. This valuable information will be used to access important accounts such as bank account and will result in a financial loss or identity theft. So, why is it important to protect yourself from phishing? It causes of identity theft. Identity theft refers to use of another person's identity, usually for financial gain or for defamatory purposes. Identify theft is a very broad term which refers to the use of sensitive or private information belonging to someone else. One example of identity theft is to perform credit card fraud. Phishing is one method used to perform an identity theft attack.
And now I will continue my part, which is from the technical view of phishing. So as you know, what is phishing all about? So there are three types of phishing. So first is phishing, spear phishing, and lastly is whaling. So phishing is the well-known method is the hacking is through email, which is the hacker send a link so that the victim will click on the link, but the link will direct it to somewhere else. So then, for example, if the link direct to Maybank to you, but the website actually is not a Maybank to you, and then the victim will enter all the details, and they will think that it's actually for themselves. But then the hacker will get all the details about the victim, and then the hacker can do anything, such as steal their money and etc. So next is about spear phishing. Spear phishing is about gives impression to other people. It's all the same thing such as phishing, but it's about being from a companion or other put stock in sender. So usually it sends emails to the victim, but they don't include the name of the victim. For example, they will write "Dear Sir." So if you see "Dear Sir" in your email, so it's actually phishing. So and lastly is about whaling. Whaling is the most risky type of phishing because it climbs one stage up to corporate leader, which they will try to hack the senior administrators of companies such as CEOs or COOs. So the casualty is looked into all more together and treated with extremely professional corporate seasoned archive, for example, a phony FBI legitimate subpoena. So it's more dangerous and it only targeted personnel with high ranking. So next I will go through preventive measurement and how we should do to prevent phishing from happening in our life. So first is about we must always keep informed about phishing techniques. So there are various types of phishing technique used today to trick the victim. So we as the possible victim should always alert and always make some research on how this phishing works so that we can prevent it from happening. So next is about download the latest antivirus software. There are many types of antivirus nowadays, but not all of them are trustworthy. So there are some types of software that you can download, such as Kaspersky, which is reliable. So this type of software can avoid you from getting phishing. So next is about think before you do anything. So if you want to click on the link that sent through the email, so you must think, is it worth it for you to click on the link? Because if you click on the link, you may be trapped and may be tricked to phishing, and you may lose everything. So next is about never give personal information. So always give your personal information to only important things. So if someone else that you don't recognize asks you to give personal information, so don't do it, because it's so dangerous. And lastly is about to check your online accounts regularly, because if you do check your online account regularly, you will notice that there are some different changes made in your account, so that you know that you are being phishing or somewhere. So lastly, I will talk about the conclusion. So the conclusion is the user always should take precaution steps and be careful while browsing the internet, because there are a lot of bad things happens there, such as phishing that we talked about. So there are many people who try to get your information, try to get photos, videos, and etc., and they will try to sell them to other people, and it's very dangerous. So even though the technique of phishing is have not changed much, so but it can still leave a big impact on yourself. So that's why you should be more careful while browsing the internet. So the most common way people getting phished is by clicking a link or downloading an attachment or file sent them through the email. So therefore you should always be more careful and try not to be phished by anybody else. So that's all from us. Thank you.